bought into the American dream of buying a home, a single-family home for your retirement. One study, in this may overstated a little bit, but this is by the National Association of Home Builders, some 88% of them want to live in or near an urban setting. They don't like the suburbs. Almost every time I give this talk, somebody says, yeah, my daughter moved up to Oakland, and she says she's never coming back down here. And that sort of thing. They just don't like this lifestyle. They grew up in it, and they know what it's like, and they just are not enamored of it.
Yeah, but a lot of them are commuting from the city
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
I want to live in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, right, same thing, yes indeed. To make housing unaffordable in Brooklyn. Exactly. They also are among it's been way back since the 1960s, was the last time that such a small percentage of young people have driver's licenses as today. They aren't even getting driver's licenses. They don't see that as part of their lifestyle. Now, possibly in the future. What they prefer is walking and riding on buses and public transit once over the other. If they're going to live in the city and take one of these buses down, then live down here. Even if they can afford it. They need to pay us much rent up there or down here. But that's a place that's an action. So they're in the West, and also they've seen what's happening down here, and this is not appealing to them. This lifestyle, is not for them. And this is also becoming fairly prohibitive to many seniors who just want to get out of this kind of situation. So, if we look at the final thing, the final force that's moving us towards Santa Clara County 3.0, which is what I refer to as generational convergence. I've spoken about seniors and about millennials and their separate tribes, and here I'm going to bring them together. They actually have a lot in common. In terms of lifestyle choices, if you break down the way we build our communities into two general categories, drivable suburban and walkable urban. The difference being, for example, if you get up on Sunday morning and you discover you need a quart of milk, do you get in the car, go get it, or do you walk to the grocery store to get it? Drivable suburban versus walkable urban. Clearly, the millennial generation has already made their choice. They want a walkable urban lifestyle. So as they exert influence on the real estate market, increasingly we're going to see builders trying to filter that to what they want. What about the boomers? We built the suburbs for them. What do they plan for? What do they want? I'm going to overgeneralize. Maybe you're talking about any generation. There always are exceptions and variations within it. One of the things that is true is that many boomers are now, if the kids are out of the house and so on, are thinking, well, what do we do? We've got these extra rooms. It's kind of hard to keep the place clean and all that. Wouldn't we rather be traveling and so on? So many of them are looking at, for example, if they have a two-story house, those stairs seem to get steeper every year, a little harder to get up. Same stairs, but something's changing. Everywhere the gravity's getting worse. They don't like the traffic. That's no fun. The reflexes aren't quite what they are. Plus, the goal here is trying to enjoy life. Who wants to live with that? And the other thing is that they have family and they want to go visit, or they want to travel, and they want to be burdened by having to stay home and maintain the yard and so on. So many boomers are considering relocating. But throughout our history, at least since the 1940s, 1950s roughly, what the boomers wanted or needed has driven the real estate market. It's the reason we built the suburbs, was so they would have homes with backyards for them. Then when they got old enough to have their own homes, then we started building starter homes for them. And then as they got farther in their careers, then they wanted to trade up to something bigger. But now they're at the top. And they no longer are, the ones that are considering moving aren't looking to trade up. They're not thinking, gosh, let's get off this small bungalow and get something bigger, more of a yard. That sort of cycle, they're looking increasingly for smaller sorts of places to walk in neighborhoods where maybe you have to own a car. Incidentally, one thing to point out to people is we don't recognize that we impose about a $10,000 a year suburban lifestyle tax on every car in this valley across the country. The AAA says the average cost of owning and maintaining an automobile in the United States is about $10,000. The cost of buying it, the cost of maintaining it, gas and oil, insurance, and so on and so forth. That's $10,000 that as a senior living on a fixed income, they can use for other things if they didn't have to have that car. If they could live in a walkable neighborhood, they can use transit, walk to the grocery store and so on. That's something that they're not going to get $10,000 from the federal government or from any other place. So it's one of the things we have to think about as we're trying to improve the quality of life for retired seniors, is that the way we build our communities can help them adjust to that. So we go back to the model here, and one of the boomers, many boomers want to stay in their single family home, and that's fine. I'm not suggesting that. But again, those that are moving are not moving towards other places in the suburbs. They're in general are looking for more urban, walkable sorts of neighborhoods to live in. So one way of sort of asking whether your community is really ready for the future is can be summarized in the following two slides. Imagine you got a letter from this couple here. It says, my wife and I have lived in our single-family home for the past 40 years. But now we want to move to a neighborhood where we can continue living an active lifestyle without running an automobile. Does your city have a neighborhood like that we can move to? That to me is the key question. Do we have places like that?
San Jose does.
Okay. With plenty.
Yeah, and they have down on Southwest Expressway, there's a
I'd say it's fine too, it's the old shopping mall.
Okay.
ride by BTA and actually can walk.
Indeed. There would be some examples. Not every city can say yes to that. And even then, what percent of the population can that accommodate? Not that there isn't a lot, but we have a lot of things that are good, but they are at the scale that we're going to need when we're adding 300,000 more people.
Well, what we need more is better transportation.
Which is a function of language, come back to some of that in a while. Similar question from the millennials, these millennials here. We're the young professionals who have the skills and the knowledge that your high-tech economy depends on. We prefer to live in vibrant urban neighborhoods where we can live active lifestyles without driving a car. Does your city have neighborhoods like that we can move to? So again, this is sort of a very generic kind of test you can apply to your city or to various parts of your city. Are we ready for the future? Have we created these kind of walkable urban neighborhoods that are going to be necessary? So just to wrap up this and then move on to sort of what's happening, what can we do about all these things? Population growth, job growth, limited land supply, aging boomers, rising millennials, generational conversion. Those are the things that are moving us from Santa Clara County 2.0 to Santa Clara County 3.0. Those are the driving forces. Those are fairly substantial forces. They're not minor things that can just flip a switch or adopt an ordinance or whatever, make them go away. They are the driving forces that are things we need to adapt to. We can't make them go away, but we can guide them. That's the critical point. So what can we do about it? Some prescriptions for preparing for Santa Clara County 3.0. First one has to do with attitudes. We can adjust our attitude. Before we begin looking at specific solutions, we can think about how are we thinking about things. The first thing is we need to be realistic. Change is coming. As I said, there's no way we can flip the switch and have any of those things stop. We couldn't have job growth stop tomorrow. We couldn't have the boomers stop aging tomorrow. We couldn't have all those other sorts of things. Big changes are coming, and they're coming fast, and we need to begin preparing for them. We're in some ways behind us on the curve. The other thing is we need to be optimistic. Often we start thinking, what's going to change? I don't like that. So it's got to be worse. And that would be worse because it's not what I've grown accustomed to. We've got to get beyond that and recognize how could we use those forces of change to make this place even better? Could we create those sort of walkable neighborhoods, for example, that would help an aging population, help provide housing for our millennial workers without having to get in the car in the morning to get to their jobs? Homeless and things like that. So you think of imagine how can we change and make things better? At the same time, we continue to grow. Second attitude we need to change. We need to recognize that growth is a two-edged sword. Sometimes people start back when growth is bad. I think we've got to get beyond that. We've got to be more nuanced. Growth is neither good nor bad. It's both. Combination of both. It provides positive things, and it also has negative consequences. Among the positive things, it brings economic prosperity. And the quality of life we enjoy in this valley is, in many ways, results of the growth that's occurred in our economy. At the same time, no doubt about it, brings challenges for traffic and higher housing prices and things of that sort. On the negative side, they may not want to change, but at the same time, they give us the resources to bring about the kind of change that they want. Brings more traffic, but at the same time, if we build housing in the right places, it also gives us the opportunity to build more neighborhoods that are more walkable and are more transit-friendly. Basic thing that people do, the suburbs, this low-density suburban lifestyle landscape that we have out there, will never be efficient to provide public transit to. We'll never be able or willing to spend enough money to have enough buses running up and down my streets, enough cul-de-sacs to provide convenient public transit. Land use has to be supportive of public transit. You have the density, there are enough people going the same places along the same routes to make the transit efficient. That's what we've got done here or most other places in the country. More people, but those are also new workers to maintain our workforce. We've got a lot of boomers in the workforce right now. When they retire, what happens to their jobs? They go away? Okay. What are the consequences of that? If they want them to go away, then where will the next generation of Silicon Valley workers live? So we've got to be thinking that housing is part of that. There's growth in it. More people's a problem, but it also is an opportunity. We sometimes think, well, if we could stop growth, all these negative things wouldn't be happening in our community. All the traffic would go away and everything else. Well, okay. But we do recognize that if we do that, if we stop growth, it also may have impacts on the positive things we want. We may lose some of them, like our economy tank. You've seen what happens there when government services, when community services, facilities like this, community centers like this get closed down or fewer hours or library. That's partly a function of the bad economy. And they're also, they provide great problems we haven't thought about. So I'm not suggesting that growth is inevitably good, but I think we need one of the simplest solutions to stopping growth is to be good and nothing bad will happen. But I think we all the rest of that equation. We need to overcome our fear of density. Density is a scary thing in the suburbs, often. We need to recognize that density is just another tool, the city building tool, the neighborhood building tool. And like all tools, we can use wisely or unwisely. We've got to learn to use it wisely. And we need to recognize that many of the things we say we want are not achievable without density. For example, we want to increase our mobility options, reduce dependency on the automobile, we have to build denser neighborhoods along transit corridors. We said we want to make housing more affordable, so we need to be more houses and more housing, and probably smaller units and higher density. Improve public transit density, improve providing lifestyles for people of all ages, protect our environment. We want to build on existing lands here, build up on existing lands here, or pave over farmlands in the Central Valley. Those are some of the trade-offs. If we want to save the Central Valley, we have to build that housing here. And all the air pollution we probably leave that important. Maintain the outdoor local economy also. So density is not just an instantly bad thing. It is an important tool, but two important caveats. If it's well planned, if it's appropriately located, those are key words. It's not density anywhere, anytime. It's those two things. All right, so moving forward, then, those are mindset. Let's talk about some actions. One of them is we need to know what our choices are. I said at the outset, we need to be proactive. We've got three choices when it comes to guiding growth. The first one is we can accept it, for better or worse. We can resist it. We can mitigate it, try and reduce the amount if it happens either in any one place or in the aggregate. Or we can guide it to the places where it will make our communities better, where it's most appropriate. Those are our four choices. Again, accepting it, resisting it, mitigating it, or guiding it. All of them are appropriate in their own context, their own situation. But as a planner, I would argue that by far the most important one is to guide it where we want it. We may stop it from happening over here, but if it happens somewhere over there, where it's done on transit or whatever, we haven't necessarily made anything better because we stopped growth over here. We just put it in a less desirable place. There are trade-offs. The next thing we need to think about here is we often get things, when we think about growth, we think of traffic. We need to be a little more subtle in our thinking about it. The issue is not traffic, it's trips. What I mean by that is, generally when we talk about growth, whether it's population growth or job growth, instantly we think, well, there's going to be more traffic. Gosh, we don't like that. Not that simple. What happens is growth, whether it's popular or job growth, creates more trips. The need for more people to get from one place to another, whether from home to the grocery store, or home to work, or home to get the kids to school, or whatever else. More trips. But it isn't, we shouldn't automatically assume that those trips are all going to take place by automobile. It all depends on how we plan our cities, how we plan that additional growth. So, again, our assumption is it's all going to be cars, but there are other choices. It could be transit, walking, or bicycle. All those are options. Those are other ways to accommodate those trips to keep people out of their cars. What we've got to do with the land use matters to go along with this. The land use matter that influence our mobility choice. Another way of looking at that, gotta have kittens in your slideshow, right? So, these kittens just happen to have the adorable names of land use and transportation. Point being, whenever we think about land use, we need to think about that in context with transportation. We're not making it, they're inseparable, just like the little twin kittens here. Whenever we make a land use decision, whether it's not build housing here and building over there, we are at the same time making a transportation decision. Which of those sites would be a better place from a transportation standpoint for that development to occur? It's not just a matter of how big it is, whatever. It's also impacts on our transportation system. So every time we make a land use decision, we're making a transportation decision. Another thing is we need to sort of change the way we think about ourselves. And just because you're wondering, I've got about 10 more minutes and we'll be wrapping up here. okay, Gary, you still on time? Then we can get a free-for-all. You can fight that amongst yourselves. Most of us who've lived in this valley, or wherever we've grown up in the United States, or many other places as well, think of ourselves as being residents of a suburban community. If we're asked, do you live in an urban or suburban, we all live in suburbs. Well, we tend to sort of view it as an either or. It's a binary choice. We're either urban or you're suburban. What we're going to have to do as we plan for the future of this valley, we're going to have to recognize that we can create a livable hybrid of the two. We can have both great suburban neighborhoods, maintain the quality of those and the lifestyle that people enjoy there. At the same time, we are creating great urban neighborhoods. But it's required, so it's we can have the hybrid of an and, a good and, not one or the other. We can have both. But it's going to require good planning. And what that means in very simplistic form, instead of having random density over on the right there, what we need to do is what I refer to as becoming intelligent and more urban. Deciding what are the right places, what are the best places for that growth to occur in ways that will create livable, vibrant urban communities. And it doesn't mean you have to want to live there, but just something that the people would like to live in. You know, if you're not the one who wants to live there, so fine, but there are other people who do. Well, the millennials want to live there. Seniors who want to drive, the kind of people who they want to have. You think about that, but not scatter that density around the city because it doesn't create any synergy. So we need to focus it in a limited number of places. So we can get the best of both worlds where we have intelligent urbanism within a fabric, predominantly suburban fabrics, and people who like the suburbs that affect them nearly as much as the way they do the random density. In other words, just to repeat what I said, we need to plan to become intelligent and more urban, not just denser. That's way too unsophisticated, too gross, too limited. We need to recognize that throughout this valley, throughout the region, throughout much of the United States, we are in a transition point, becoming from being predominantly suburban to becoming these hybrid sorts of situations. It's not just here, it's throughout the country in most growing places, maybe not Detroit, but most other places. So we need to make that transition intelligent. We need to do it wisely and get to becoming much more urban and in a wise way. We need to create new urban neighborhoods that they don't all have to look like Santana Row, but they may have to have that sort of density and that sort of look and feel, that kind of feel, more affordable prices, both in housing and that kind of thing. But that's sort of a rough model of the direction we need to be going. Because that's a people magnet. I challenge you, for example, to drive anywhere in the valley, any city around Saturday night or Friday night, warm Saturday night, and you'll go through some downtown Los Altos, so we can pick on them. There are several communities like that where after 6 o'clock, shut us down. Santana Row at 11 o'clock at night, warm summer night, the restaurants are still back. People still walking up and down. Yeah, those places, those are the kind of things we need to aspire to create more of. They shouldn't be such rare things in our valley. They should be common. So here's, again, my model for this is we need to think in livable green urban neighborhoods. Places that meet all three of these criteria, livable, green, and urban. Those are the building blocks for sustainable cities, for vibrant neighborhoods, and so on. To benefit everyone of all ages. And I won't spend a lot of time on these. They need to be livable in terms of being convenient, vibrant, diverse, and all those sorts of things. They need to be green in terms of being sustainable, energy and water efficient, and so on. And more urban, higher density, mixed use, transit-oriented, walkable, bikeable, and so on. This is not an idea that's really some futuristic, far-out thing. It's not like we'll flying around in our cars, or Uber cars, or driving around flying around the city. This is actually the model of how we used to build cities before we built the suburbs. We had housing above shops, we had transit that helped us get conveniently to places we wanted to get to. Just a matter of taking that model, not making it to meet current needs and so on. And the key thing is we need to plan for what are often called complete neighborhoods. Sometimes we find, we've got some density here, we've got a couple, the upper floors are residential, downstairs we've got these vacant, what turn out often to be vacant commercial places because not enough people living in the neighborhood to support the cleaners in the restaurant or whatever. We've got to create neighborhoods that have enough density, enough people living there that gets over the threshold where it becomes viable for local business to be located there. So, a few final thoughts here then. We need to get comfortable with urban. That is our future. Not entirely urban, but urban within our suburban communities. We've got to learn how to do that well. We've got to be able to talk about it. Often difficult conversation. Two of the scariest words, some of you probably recognize who that is. Those of us of a certain age probably could. There we go. That was sort of psycho, the original psycho with anyway. So two of the scariest words in suburbia are density we don't like that density, it's not us, urban. And if you really want to scare people, talk about urban density. So I'd like you to help me and participate in a brief experiment here. Somebody you can recognize that. Bonus points when you recognize it. Forest Skyline, absolutely. It's a trivia there. This is all right, so I'd like you to engage with a little sing-along or say-along with me anyway. I'd like you to say with me the word density 3 times. Ready?
Density, density, density.
All right, let's try the same thing with the word urban.
Urban.
Okay, now, look to your left. Look to your right. Oops, and
We're in outer space now.
Not very dense.
Bear with me, I've got it ready here. We'll just keep saying urban and density for a while. There's a hockey track going on. Pushing on the slide. Okay, we're almost there. Let me just wrap. I've got about 5 more slides to move on, so that we'll have plenty of time. Okay, so you're going to look to your left. You got that? We're back at that. Looking to our lefts. Looking to our right. All right. Everyone okay? All right, what we've just proven is that talking about urban density doesn't kill anyone. It is not fatal. You all survive. We can do it. We can do it.
Barely.
Yeah, right. In fact, we're going to need to talk about those things if we want to create a better future for Santa Clara County. We've got to talk about what does creating a great urban neighborhood look like. What are the elements of it? How do we go about doing that? What kind of uses do we allow? What kind of uses don't we allow? How do we make it fit in with the surrounding neighborhood, which may not be a whole bunch of things like that. One last 2 more slides, and I'll come back to questions and comments. The next, my final point is we need to act with a sense of urgency. I've been talking about things that are going to happen 30 years out, but it's not as though things are going to stay the same for the next 14 years, and then the 15th year, suddenly all the seniors get off the buses, and we're already on a trajectory for becoming a much older population. Final point is, so we've got to start working now. This is not a future problem, this is a now problem that has future ramifications. We need to recognize that we live in a very special place here. We have problems that most of the rest of the world would love to have. We may find them very troubling, but we sometimes get spoiled that we've had it so good here for so long. We've got to recognize that the very forces that are challenging, no question about it. They are also opportunities. We have growth, whether we like it or not, it's coming, and it gives the opportunity. There's nowhere to create those walkable neighborhoods unless there's a market to sell those homes and so on. So growth helps us do that. We have demographic change, the aging of our population, another thing that helps us figure out what kind of neighborhoods we create. Maybe one of the things we do is both neighborhoods that are walkable for seniors and walkable for millennials who prefer that sort of lifestyle. And we have economic investment. You can get people to invest in development in this county from all around the world. So it's really pretty cool. I mean, most of the rest of the world would die for that kind of those opportunities. They're challenges, but they're also great opportunities that make us unique in many ways. What we don't have right now, for the most part, in order to take advantage of those opportunities, is the civic imagination, where we all carry around in our heads a vision of what our community is going to look like 15 years from now. When we build a great neighborhood, what Oaks Valley would like, what we want to do in the city, what our neighborhoods would be like. We've got to be able to picture in our mind's eye what our goal is, what we want. The goal of keeping it exactly as it was is unrealistic. It's going to change. If we want to guide it, then we have to have a vision of the positive change we want to see happen. We need to also have a political will. It's one thing to say we want to do that, and if every project comes up and we fight it at City Hall and it doesn't get built, then we squander those opportunities that we have. So if we can do those, get those last things, we have the potential here in this valley to literally capture lightning in the bottle and do really great things with our community. We can make Santa Clara County 3.0 better than 2.0, even better than 2.0. And I think we have an obligation to ourselves and future generations to do that. Thank you so much. Now it's time for you to start fighting amongst yourselves.
Well, thank you very much, Don. Do we have 1 or 2 questions? And I think you'll stick around.
Did you work for the San Jose planning?
I work for Santa Clara County Planning.
Santa Clara
Santa Clara County.
County. So from you, the geniuses in San Jose learn about the urban villages?
No.
Or from you?
No, but one of the things you realize is that land use, when somebody asks who's in charge of land use planning from a countywide perspective, the answer is no one. The county has no control over what the cities do. Cities are independent entities. When it comes to land use, your city council decides what gets built where, who can deal in their city council does. County can't tell either of them, but we can recommend what they should do, but they don't. They have no power over it. Yes, it's over here in that
Speaking
area.
of Cupertino,
You can ask.
Cupertino, do you know about the Valco situation? You know
I'm going to pretend I don't.
Yesterday in Cupertino, we voters turned down two measures on the ballot. One was a citizens initiative to basically make it so that any amendment to the general plan of the future would have to go in front of the voter again. We turned that down.
Yes, you do.
And the second one was the Sand Hill properties redevelopment of the Valco thing.
Yeah.
We turned that down.
Yeah.
And it was mostly because it was 2 million square feet of office space within a mile of the new application. And Wolf Road was going to be totally impacted by that. So I'm wondering if you do these kind of presentations for city councils, because now our city council and planning commission have to come back through and start from the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, just quick, I don't take sides on local issues in particular, but in general, I don't think ballot box planning is a good idea. It's too rigid. Personally, I don't know the details of both of them. I know the C&D, I know who sponsored them, but personally, I'm sort of glad they both were defeated. I think we need to decide things that work democratically, but if we make a mistake, we can go back and amend it rather than go back to the voters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I wanted to know what was happening in this, Saturday,
That's good.
in terms of Saturday, pinpoint arrow. Is there anything happening that you need to know? Or?
Yeah, one of the things you should know about is that the gentleman made reference to this a little bit ago. San Jose was updated its last general plan, which is what we call San Jose 2030. They decided that the projection for San Jose over the next, I don't know, 30 years, 20 or 30 years, is like 200,000 more people. It's a little longer time frame than what I use. And they decided to do that in a way that maintains livability and enhances it. We should do it in the form of what they're calling urban villages, more focused areas where along transit. That's their concept that they've been invented in planning circles for decades. But the whole concept. Some of the neighborhoods they've already done plans for that. There's Kirk may know better, but where they are now, they were doing one or going to do one for the Winchester corridor.
Stevens Creek is moving around right now.
Stevens Creek
This
is
is the most stupidest thing in the world.
Okay.
Because you have the Valley Fair in Santana Row, which attracts millions of people. This cannot be an urban village. Urban village have to be supported by the local people.
Well, if you build housing near, and I'm not trying to get the details of that, but if you already have a grocery store and a pharmacy and apartments, wouldn't it make sense to build a lot of houses near that so they can have people walk to it? So that it may well be that Santana Row in that area is the ideal place for higher density.
It isn't.
Yeah.
Because you need tons of cars to move.
No, not if you're walking. I mean, that's the whole point.
Valley Fair walking?
If you live right across the street from it,
But Valley Fair needs thousands of people to move.
Yeah, I guess I was just wondering, on a more broad level, is the intent of this group to try to help bring about and advocate for some of these changes, like proactive building?
I'm not part of this group.
No, it's really,
Or
in
is
this
it just
case
awareness?
particularly, just informative.
And
City
academic.
council. Okay, yeah, I would know.
My personal goal is to get you concerned about the future of your neighborhood and your community to become participants.
First time I introduced him as a professor, because I thought it was what I Molly?
Okay, so I live in Sunnyvale, and it seems like what happens when you're saying planning the development, developer buys a plot of land, and they want to build as much as they can on it. It has nothing to do with the city planning. I just don't see where that, they don't say, oh, this is what we want for this plot. It's more the developer says, so this is what we want to put up there, and you guys have to keep cutting it down until it gets approved. It doesn't seem like there's any coordination of what would make sense to go on this spot.
Isn't that a general plan supposed to?
Yeah, the general plan should be defining, and your zoning should be defining. Now, there always will be someone come and say, couldn't I have any exceptions to do something? Yeah.
Right.
Part of it is, one of the generic challenges in all cities facing, and focusing on something, most cities do not have a broad consensus as to how they want to grow in the future, what they want to be like in the future. So if you had an agreement that said, we're going to put most of our growth in these three places, and we're gonna protect the rest of the area. Then when a developer comes into some of those other places, I want to do this, no, these are the 3 places. And then that developers, time is money. If you can show them where they can develop, then they'll do that. And save them time.
Let me take one more question with that.
And I'll be around for a while.
Charles?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I wanted to address the question up in the front. The Sierra Club does have people who advocate for this kind of dense development around transit centers. The Sustainable Land Use Committee is focused entirely on promoting sustainable development. And the primary focus for them has been in Santa Clara County. And we're trying to bring it so that it's working on more projects in this area.
Okay.
But for example, with the Dearden Station, we were heavily involved in trying to make the development of Dearden Station much more sustainable and following the kind of principles that we're talking about tonight. So if it's something that you want to be interested in, then we'd love to have you join the club or become active with the club working on the issue. There are tons of these issues. When cities are talking about their general plans, we try to get involved and say, these are the places where you should be doing it, and you should be doing it elsewhere. If there's a plan that's proposed, like Molly was talking about, we go in and say, no, it's not appropriate there, let's do it someplace else. And
I just think traffic, I mean, no surprise, is becoming so crushing in this area.
it is,
That,
it is.
you know, if you even add a small percentage point to that, it's just, you know, it's gonna.
Absolutely.
But it's still not dense enough to do
Transit.
which is just like, I don't get it.
This room about to turn into a pumpkin.
Well,
This room about to turn into a pumpkin.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Is this room turning into a pumpkin at 9 o'clock, or?
No, we don't have to rush out. Yeah, we don't, I just.
Time for another 100 questions.
well, this is just a comment, and that is, you talked about primarily 2 things. You talked about traffic, transit, you know, transportation, moving from one place to another. And